what's up?
Family, what's going on, family? It's DeShawn here, your favorite queer radio personality, and this is our very first podcast stage at Pride Southside. Can we clap it up for that? I'm so glad that y'all are here celebrating Black Pride on the south side of Chicago. And I want to make sure that y'all check out the other podcasts that are here, okay? Together Real Bad over here, your favorite relationship podcast. We got Black Gay Table Talk over here, doing his thing with Keenan, all right? And then I've got E3 Radio, your number one stop for queer radio done right. We playing queer music all day long, okay? We cleared out the straights last year, okay? I mean, it hurt me to clear out Beyonce, but it had to be done, okay? So we play queer music all day long. And then we have The Cube, your number one stop where you can find curated podcasts by Black and brown folks that you can't find anywhere else. So I'm excited that the mayor decided to stop by and say what's up. What's going on, Mayor John?
What's up? Of course, I'm happy to be here. Happy Southside Pride, and congratulations to you, to all of your work and everything that you've done and what you mean for our people in particular. Certainly, of course, the larger, political impact that you've had. But I do want to give a special just thanks to you for always seeing our people. To be seen and served is what you imbibe. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's good to have you on the South Side. I know you're a West Sider. You say that everywhere. I know.
There we go.
Okay,
Thank you. There's always one that has my back. Thank you.
All right, let's dig into some questions with you. So first up is that we understand from, if y'all didn't know, there is an LGBTQ Mayor's Advisory Council. All right, and one thing we recommended under Mayor Lightfoot is that we needed an office. The LGBTQ community deserves an office, just like every other major city. And so we understand that there's going to be a chief position of LGBTQ Affairs. Can you tell us timeline, what you envision for this role and what you look for them to do?
Yeah, that's right. And so, that was something that was important to me. When I was running for office, that's what I heard over and over again, to start the process of having an entire structure that can respond and show up for the LGBTQ plus community. And so what I've done in this year's budget, we put forth a chief position, and we are going through a process now, finalizing individuals who we believe fit the expectation that the people of Chicago have for this office, because it will be the first person ever to serve in this capacity. So I'm really excited. We have an incredible talent pool of applicants that our team has gone through. And so this is a real funded position that will ultimately, to get at the back end of your question, will make sure, simply put, that in everything that we do as an administration, that the LGBTQ plus experience and expertise and brilliance is a part of those decisions. Now, thank you. That's a good enough reason to clap for the position, I do believe, right? But it's also more than that. It's also, you all know that my background is organizing. And so it's really about pulling people together, resources, federal, state, resources, but also pulling people together, because that is power in and of itself. So it's chief responsibilities to make sure that the lens and the expertise and experiences of the LGBTQ plus community are centered in our building a better, stronger, safer Chicago, but it's also a role to organize and bring people together.
Yeah, and I hope that the chief position is just the beginning, because I do believe that we deserve an entire office to help serve what's happening every single day, especially given what's happening across the country. And I think we all know very well, over 500 anti-LGBTQ bills, legislation have been introduced across the country. Some have been introduced here in Illinois as well. So as quickly as we can be affirming, and as quickly as it can change. So it's important that we continue to solidify policies, right? And so my other question to you is, what policies, agenda do you have to continue to protect LGBTQ citizens here in the city?
Thank you for that question. Let me just say, first of all, that is part of the responsibility of this position, is to make sure that policies that we can deliver on are meeting the expectations and the demands of this moment. And so obviously, if it's not obvious, also before I was in politics, I wasn't just an organizer, I was an educator. And so part of my responsibility is making sure that real affirming policies and measures within our Chicago public schools, that those policies are available. Also within the curriculum, there's not enough of our curriculum that speaks to the brilliance of the LGBTQ plus contributions politically, economically, within business, technology, that all of that becomes wrapped up within our education space. And so I think what's important to get out of this moment is that I don't believe in simply setting the agenda for individuals who have the power to set the agenda. So we can run down a whole list of potential ordinances, but what I want to make sure that this community understands for me, you get to help lead this city. You get to help lead this city. And I know that there's a lot of attention to you as mayor, as an executive. I get my responsibility. But my responsibility is also to make sure that individuals who have not had the privilege and the opportunity to run this city, that they get to do it. Because I can tell you, when other mayors were in office, they had the interests of corporations running this city. And so I want to ensure that the people who are closest to the solutions, who are closest to the pain, are playing an intricate role in developing and building out a better, stronger, safer Chicago.
And you mentioned education, which I think is really important. So if you don't know, in the city of Chicago, the Legacy Project passed legislation where LGBTQ history is meant to be taught in schools, in public schools, right? And we have to roll out that curriculum. So I'm hoping that that's one of the top priorities, because that's not happening right now at this moment, but it should be, and I think that speaks to your point. Also, when we talk about education, can we talk about bullying too? How can we protect our queer young people in schools? Because bullying, what happened to Next Benedict, for example, is happening all the time. So how do we protect and ensure LGBTQ young people, right, are doing well and are thriving inside of public schools today?
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, the harm that bullying has done to so many people in the LGBTQ plus community, that harm is our responsibility to make sure it's not repeated. And so there are a couple of things. For me, it's not just within our education system where we are educating our young people on the LGBTQ plus community, and also educating our young people around what bullying is. You know, because, and this is not to make excuses, look, I'm Generation X, which means I'm the last obedient generation on the planet. But in Gen X, there were things that we watched growing up that we didn't even know how offensive it was because we were too young to even understand it. And I'm talking about just regular sitcom. And so you have a whole generation that has been indoctrinated around what people have used as jokes, but have also been obviously very harmful. And so we have to make sure that our young people in particular are part of a generation that recognizes what bullying and what harmful language is. You'll be surprised. Look, I taught middle school. I had, kids in my classroom who identified as LGBTQ plus. And the students would interact with these other students and have to be told the harm that they were causing. For many young people, and this is not just young people, most of our systems have to be taught what the harm is. And so my administration is committed to working with community-based organizations, nonprofit organizations, the philanthropic community to ensure that that education is a part of the experience of the day-to-day. So not only do we know what it is, we know how to make sure it doesn't happen.
One more? I got, how many questions I got? One more? I got one more question. Okay. So one question that we're asking absolutely everybody is, what does the right to pride mean to you in one word? But you got to look at that camera and say.
Only one word?
How you
gonna confine a mayor, West Sider, to one word?
Child, the mayor, the activists, right. Everybody has been confined. One word, what does the right to pride mean to you?
Authenticity.
Yeah. See, now you done broke the mic. Mayor, you done broke the mic. I do want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to Pride Southside. Thank you for making time for us here. And we appreciate what you're doing, and we're gonna keep holding you accountable and keep supporting you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Southside Pride, y'all.